Welcome to User Training Part 2, Creating a Workflow. To create a workflow, click on Create New or Create New Workflow at the top of your dashboard. Once on the upload page, you will need to import your document. You will be able to import your document by clicking on the green Import Your Document button, or if your File Explorer is already open, you will be able to direct yourself to the correct file and select your document. Once you have selected your document, you will be able to click and drag the document into the import box. The second page will be your document information page. On the document information page, you will be able to cancel your workflow by clicking on the Cancel Flow button. You will be able to preview the very first page of the document that you have uploaded by clicking on this display over here. You will be able to see the document ID, and the document ID is very important. Should you be experiencing any issues regarding this document, our support agents will need the document ID in order to investigate. Then we have the document name, and should you need to rename your document, you will be able to click on Rename Document and change the name of your document. Click on Save once you have renamed your document. Should you notice that you have uploaded the incorrect document, you will be able to click on Replace Document and select the correct one. Then we have Split Pages. Split Pages is used for when you have a document with multiple pages that needs to be workflowed individually. You will be able to start a new portfolio from here, and you will be able to add this workflow to an existing portfolio, should you have one. Then we get to the document priorities. So for instance, low, should the document be signed within the next 2 weeks, we can set it to low. Should the document be signed within the next week, we can set it to normal. Should the document be signed as soon as possible, we can set it to high. If the document priority has been set to high, the signing notification will come through as a high priority email. Then we have the due date. You will be able to set a due date to your workflow. And with this due date being set, is on the signing notification, there will be an attachment that you can install into your email calendar, which will then remind the signer on the specific date you set that the document still needs to be signed off. On the signing notification, it will also state that this document is due on the specific date you have selected. You will be able to set the workflow to auto expire, and auto expire with a due date. This will become your expiry date. You will also be able to set the workflow to auto remind, and auto remind will just send your signer a reminder email each and every day until the document has been signed off. Then we have email notifications. This option lets you choose whether to send emails to the workflow users or not. Send all, meaning this will send out email notifications to everyone in the workflow. Skip all. This will skip all of the users in the workflow, so no one will receive a signing notification. Skip first will only skip the signing notification to the very first signer. I generally use skip first if I am the first signer in the workflow that I have initiated. As the first signer in the workflow, I will not need a signing notification, as the system will take me directly into EasySign after the doc has been released. Then we have custom message. A custom message, simply explained, is a brief message to your signers. This message could be telling your signers what the document is about, or giving them brief instructions of what you want them to do with the document. For example, I will type in "Good day, kindly sign this document." The options at the top will allow you to format your text. So for instance, if we would like our text to display in bold, we can click on the bold button. We can center aligners, change our font size, change our font family, and also have it display as a heading. Once we have set up the document information, we can proceed to the workflow signer setup. On this page, we will be selecting our workflow users and the order that they need to be in, as well as the action that they would need to take. Should you be a signer in the workflow that you have created, you can click on Add Yourself. The details that you have registered with will automatically populate, and you can click on Add. You will be able to add a signer by clicking on Add Signer, where you will be able to populate your signer's details. Once you have populated your signer's details, you can click on Add. If the user is an existing contact, the details will populate automatically. Add Face-to-Face is used when you need to witness someone signing a document. You will be able to add an approver to your workflow. Always remember as an approver that you are not required to sign the document, but you will be required to either approve or reject the document. You will be able to add a group to your workflow. This is known as a parallel workflow, where you will be able to add multiple users to a group and stipulate to the system how many signatures you require. It is very important to note that this works on a first come, first served basis, meaning that whichever user logs in first, this will be picked up as the first signature or signer one. If you are added to a workflow as a viewer, you will be able to view the workflow at any point in time. As a viewer, you are not required to complete any action. Once you have selected your signers, we can go to Doc Prepper. This is to prepare the fields on the document for each of the signers. Once in Doc Prepper, we will be able to place the fields for the users. One of the most important things to remember is you need to tell the system for which signer you are placing the fields for. For example, for the first signer, I would select the field I'm placing for them. I will proceed to click and drag the field to where I want it. I will resize the field to the size that I need it. And once I'm happy with the sizing and placing, I will click on the white button that reads Click to Affix to place my field. Now I will click on my second signer's name and place the fields for that signer. The first field I have is the signature field. Click on the signature button and click and drag the field to where you need it to be. Resize the field according to your specifications and click on the white button that says Click to Affix. The next field I am placing is the initial field. I will click on the field and drag it to where it needs to be. Once you release, you will see a pop-up asking if you want to have this field added to all pages. If you select yes, the initial field will be added automatically to all of the pages of your document. Should you not want to add the initial field to all of the pages, simply select no. Should you accidentally select yes and you only wanted the field on a specific page, click on the red cross at the top right hand of that specific field. Once you click on this red cross, another pop-up will ask you if you want to have this field removed from all pages. Select no. Then we get to form field placing. These will be fillable fields. The first field is the mandatory open text field. This field is mandatory for your signer to fill in, and your signer will not be allowed to sign the document without filling in this field. Drag the field to where you need it to be and resize the field according to your specifications. Once you are happy with the sizing and the placing of the field, click on the white button that says Click to Affix. The next field is a non-mandatory text field. This is an optional text field, meaning that the signer will not be forced to fill in this field before they will be able to sign. Click and drag the field to where you need it to be, resize the field, and once you're happy with the sizing and the placing, click on the white button that says Click to Affix. Then we have the checkbox field. I call this an optional checkbox, as your signer is not forced to check this box before they sign the document. Click and drag this field to where you need it to be. The checkbox group is mandatory checkboxes. Using a checkbox group will benefit you greatly with either or questions, yes or no, or choose one of the following. Once you click on the checkbox group button, the pop-up reminds you that you are adding a checkbox group. Click on OK. Click on Add Checkbox and place your checkbox to where you need it to be. Repeat this step until you have sufficient checkboxes. Once you are happy with your checkboxes, click on Save Checkbox Group. In the checkbox group settings, we will need to tell the system what will be the minimum amount of checkboxes required as well as the maximum. In this case, I will say 1, as I would like my checkboxes to be mandatory. For the maximum, I will also state 1, as I would like to limit my signer to only one answer. Once I'm happy with my settings, I'll click on Save Settings. So now we have our checkbox group. The last field in our form field placing is the drop-down field. The drop-down field is great for giving your signers a list of options to choose from. Click on the drop-down field button, drag the field to where you need it to be, resize the field if necessary, and click on Click to Affix. You will be able to add drop-down values. Click on the blue plus button to add more values. Once all your values has been added, click on Save. The next set of fields is our user set info fields. These are the fields that will pick up details automatically. First, we have the name field. This field will pick up a user's full name and surname exactly as they have registered on SigniFlow. Click on the name field button, drag it to where you need it to be, and resize the field should it be required. Click on the white button that says Click to Affix. Then we have the date field. Please note, this is not a date picker, but it will automatically pick up the date of signature placed. Click on the date field, drag it to where you need it to be, and click on the white button that says Click to Affix. So even if we send out the document today and signers only sign tomorrow, the date will be picked up as tomorrow's date. I will now be adding the rest of the fields for my users, which is a name field for each and a date field. The last two fields in this set is the email address field. This will automatically pick up your signer's email address, and the contact number field. This will automatically pick up your signer's contact number. Once you're happy with the document that you have prepared, you will be able to click on the Release Document button. You can think of the Release Document button as a send button, as once this button is clicked, it will send the workflow to the first signer in the sequence. Please watch User Training Part 2B for signing.